What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Multiverse Monologues, the podcast show where we like to travel across the multiverses and fandoms that we love to talk about the movies and television shows that accompany those universes. This week, on the Marvel Movie Marathon, we have the epic and awesome privilege to talk about a movie that has a lot to do with the multiverse, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This is 2018. This is winter. Right now, as of this recording, it is basically almost December. It takes me back to pretty much 5 years ago, almost to the date of when this movie came out. And I know that we have a lot to say. We're 5 years removed. This is, I know, my first time watching it post Across the Spider-Verse, and I think we've got a lot of very interesting details to talk about, and especially a lot of good things to say. Me, Ben Rayside, co-host of this podcast, also introducing the gentleman who helped make this show possible. First off, Mr. Ethan Wansloff. Ethan, how are you doing today?
All right, let's do this one last time. For the past 2 years, I've been the one and only podcaster. Dang. But I was sitting around doing sit-ups as I normally do, getting my crunches on, totally wasn't eating pizza. I was sucked in here, and now here I sit. So I'm excited to talk about Into the Spider-Verse.
Also introducing Mr. Micah Het. Micah, how are you doing?
Wherever I go, the wind follows. And the wind smells like rain. Ben, let's do this one more time. I am Micah Het, and I am the one and only podcaster on this podcast. I am here to talk about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's all I have to say.
Nice. Very good.
Amazing.
I started playing the wrong song.
That was the first intro with music on there.
I had been planning that since Across the Spider-Verse came out.
And you were like,
I was like, ooh, when we do the Across the Spider-Verse podcast, let's do it.
What about the Into the Spider-Verse podcast? The movie
That's
that we're talking about today.
Guys, I didn't think we'd make it to this, honestly.
You say
Like
this,
2 years ago?
That's what every week is. I didn't think we'd make it here, man.
Come on, we're 53 movies into this marathon, man. I mean, who'd have thought?
Remember when we were watching?
Not me.
Not me. Remember when we were watching Eric Bana Hulk and we are like, guys, we're not gonna make it into the Spider.
Get the good stuff.
Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. Oh man, closing that episode, I was like, the next time we'd see Nick Cage is this movie.
Ooh, much better incarnation of whatever character he's playing in this.
It's debatable.
Is it?
He does have a cape.
We're going to debate about it here, folks.
Oh.
On Multiverse Monologues. Before we get into it, though, before we get into the nitty-gritty of Into the Spider-Verse, I would say go check out YouTube. We are now at 573, if my latest projections are correct, Micah.
Projections.
And we are,
what we got.
we are almost at 600 subscribers. So I would say if you are new to the podcast or new to the Marvel Movie Marathon, we've got a bunch of epic stuff coming up. We're almost done with the Marvel Movie Marathon, and we would love to see that hit over 600 subscribers. So I would say go on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to each and every one of us. But now, gentlemen, let's open our sling rings and head over to Earth 1610.
Look, sometimes people drift apart, Miles. And I don't want that to happen to us, okay? Look, I know I don't always do what you need me to do or say what you need me to say, but I see this spark in you. It's amazing. It's why I push you, but it's yours. Whatever you choose to do with it, you'll be great. I love you. You don't have to say it back, though.
Miles Morales is a Brooklyn teenager who, when he is bitten by a radioactive spider, suddenly develops spider-like powers. He soon meets Peter Parker, the Spider-Man from his universe. However, they are soon confronted by the Kingpin, who is using a device to open portals to other universes. The Kingpin is trying to bring back his wife and son from the dead, but his actions are threatening to destroy all of reality. Miles must learn how to use his powers and work with other spider people from different universes to stop the Kingpin. He must also learn what it means to be Spider-Man and what it means to be a hero. I like that addition at the end there. Thank you, Bard. Thank you, Bard. Because what this movie does, and a lot of what modern Spider-Man movies, I would say, kind of fail to grasp, the best Marvel movies and the best Spider-Man movies specifically ask what it means to be that specific hero in the movie. And this Spider-Man movie in particular is specifically, what does it mean to be Spider-Man? What does it mean to wear the mask? Are you the only one that can wear the mask? And it deals with a lot of deep thematic themes, I guess is what you
Thematic
could say.
themes. There you go.
Listen, man, there is so much to this movie, and it has been Sony. The last movie we reviewed was Venom. Come on, and this was from the same studio.
Same year.
The difference in quality.
Well, hold on. Different studio. One was Sony Pictures Animation. One was the other one. I forgot what it's called.
The Spunk.
This
Same company, man. All right.
Sony
And
Pictures Entertainment.
this was released within 3-4 months. The difference in quality. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, how does this come
They're
from
about
the
the
same
same
studio?
quality, if you ask me.
Dang, Ethan revealing his thoughts.
Wow. I
I'm
mean,
gonna actually
one
shoot this.
clearly has a larger budget, so
Yeah, come on.
Which one had the larger budget?
Venom
Venom did?
by a good 16 mil, easy.
What was the budget of Into the Spider-Verse?
90.
I ask you. 90.
90 mil.
Ethan, I'm shooting this to you first. Did you see this movie in the theaters in Christmas 2018?
I did see this in theaters, but I did not see it around the release date. I don't remember how long after this movie was in theaters before I ended up seeing it, but it was at least a couple weeks, and the hype around this film was huge. Actually, Angie, your
Sister-in-law?
Sister-in-law, yeah. She and I went with a few others, and they were like, all right, this movie's really great. You got to see this. And I don't know why initially that hype wasn't there for me. It wasn't like, I guess I thought, yeah, that's a kid movie. I'm not into that because Disney Plus nowadays, they release a lot of this Miles Morales kid content. Things like Spidey Jr. and Friends. So I thought maybe it'd be something like that or adjacent to that. And I wasn't expecting the ride that I was about to go on. So yeah, I saw this in theaters, but it wasn't opening night.
Do you remember the trailers leading up to this? Were you in tune with the marketing to this, or was it kind of just like I'll go see this movie?
Really, the main marketing I remember from the time was the Venom post-credit scene, because I did see that in theaters. Yeah, and I remember being like, that looks really interesting, but it wasn't enough to grab me at that moment.
Were you a fan after you left?
Oh, I think it's very easy to say I'm a fan. It's going to be really hard to podcast on this one because so much praise has been given to this movie, and we're going to try to, I don't know, give our own opinion, something different, unique. That's not really going to happen today, but I'm a big fan of this movie, and I just think it does so much so well. It's hard to really do it justice by talking about it.
And also, what is going to be very interesting is where this film falls in our ranking, because I, like you, saw this after the initial hype had gone down. My buddy Cade Simon was like, dude, you have to see this movie. He took me. We both sat down, and I was not ready for the ride that I was about to. I mean, the movie was fantastic. It still is, and holds up after. I mean, I've seen this movie how many times? I don't even know if I could count. I've seen this movie so many times, and each time I get something different. I notice something new, especially this time. There was one moment in this movie, which I'm going to talk about. It's almost impossible to not watch this movie and its sequel, Across the Spider-Verse, and not notice something new, get something new out of it. And that is, I think, part of the genius behind these movies. I'm also a huge fan.
Yeah, there's just so much in every frame, so much work put into every still image. And Micah said it as we were watching, like, they don't really waste a moment of screen time in this. And it's just, it's a really, really good movie.
Micah, you're a Spider-Man guy. You're a Spider-Man fan. Every time I ask you if you've seen these movies, it's always, I didn't really see it, except for Spider-Man film. Did you see this one in theaters?
Now, let me tell you a story. We watched Venom, right? We watched it like the Saturday after it came out, and then there was this post-credit scene in Venom where it was like, oh, why are they advertising a kids movie in this? And we didn't see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse opening weekend. We didn't even see it the next weekend. We saw it, I'm pretty sure, way closer to Christmas. And it was just some matinee. It was Christmas break. It was like just some random Tuesday. And I think we even did a double feature. We double featured it with like, I'm trying to look through what came out that year.
Aquaman came out.
There was Aquaman.
Christmas
We didn't watch
2018.
Aquaman though. We watched something stupid
I'll get to that.
same day. And I remember just being blown away by this movie. I had no expectations. I was like, oh yeah, it's Spider-Man. We're gonna watch a Spider-Man movie, and I had no hype for this movie. I had no like, all right, yeah, whatever. And wow, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out of nowhere. It wasn't even in, I'm looking at the box office stuff right now. This wasn't even in 4,000 theaters nationwide. To compare, Aquaman was in 4,100 theaters nationwide. This was in 3,800, which is not as much as, like, this is a Marvel movie. This is considered to be one of the greatest movies of all time, and it wasn't even a full release. That's crazy. Looking back, how unfair the hand was that was dealt to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and just how successful it jumped back from it. It's amazing.
So I'm noticing a theme here. We all didn't see it opening weekend. Some of us not even after 2 weeks.
No.
Do you have the numbers on the opening weekend
I do.
of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Wow.
Because that would be an interesting number.
That's actually something new in the spreadsheet here.
I noticed
Opening
you updated it.
weekend, it made $35 million out of its $90 million budget. $35 million.
Crazy.
That is
35
one of
million.
our smallest opening weekends that we have here. I mean, like, there's some of the older ones, but the Marvels even made more than that. And that was a box office disaster, right? The only other, I mean, it made as much as Morbius did opening weekend.
Wow.
39 million compared to 35 million. It's ouch. Very ouch. Fan Four Stick made half that, so that's good. But
Yeah, this movie was able to do what so many Marvel movies just do not do now, and that's word of mouth. Just
yeah,
word of mouth made this movie big. And
Yes.
do you have comparisons to other numbers of like first weekend versus second weekend?
not second weekend, but I mean, it
But the
ended.
final number
It ended
was...
at 384
Right.
million. So like it made a lot of money,
Mhm.
especially compared to its budget. It made 4 times its budget, which is a success. I'd say if you make 2.5 times your budget or more, then it's a pretty good success.
I'm just glad that Sony had the knowledge to continue this because, I mean, look at the box office of Across the Spider-Verse. That is, without a doubt, one of the greatest things to come out of the year of 2023.
Yeah, and looking at Sony Pictures Animation's history, what they have here. So they had some hits like Clyde with a Chance of Meatballs. I remember really liking that first
Yes,
one.
that was good.
Arthur Christmas, I hear, was pretty good. Open Season gave some laughs. Surf's Up, I hear, was pretty
Fantastic.
good. And then towards 2018, you start getting Smurf sequels. You start getting Hotel Transylvania. The first Hotel Transylvania was pretty good. Second one was, kind of... by the third one, you kind of lost me. We had the Emoji Movie, 2017. That's July 28th. We had Peter Rabbit. We had 4 releases from Sony Pictures in 2018. Peter Rabbit, Hotel Transylvania 3, Goosebumps 2. Who knew that they even came out with a second one? Remember the first one where it was like, I think Jack Black was in that? I don't even remember. And then Into the Spider-Verse. So there was a second Angry Birds movie. So there's like all these movies that Sony Pictures Animations was just pumping out to make more money. They were trying to be an Illumination where they can just use the same formula over and over again. And then they pump out this masterpiece that is Into the Spider-Verse. This Phil Lord and other Phil Lord? Are they both Phil? No. What are they?
Chris Miller, right?
Chris Miller and Phil Lord. Yeah. Where do they even come from? What did they do before this?
They did Cloudy with a Chance of
They did
Meatballs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
And
Okay.
Lego Movie. was
And
that
Lego
one?
movie.
yeah.
So they've got some good things under their belt. They did 21 Jump Street. They did 22 Jump Street. Storks.
They are very good at writing, and
Yeah.
they have not really been able to have the space to create a very drama-filled story. They're
Yeah.
very good at comedy. Their last 3 movies that we just cited are evident of that. I think those movies are hilarious. But this is the first time where they really tackle deep character drama and excellent writing. And when I think about what Solo could have been, Solo, a Star Wars story, they were the original directors for that. What it was and then what it became, I can't help but thinking maybe, because these guys have always produced golden content.
All
What
of
could
their
it have
stuff,
been?
like their whole list is
Yes.
just gold. I mean, there's a
Yes.
couple, but whatever. Everyone's got their flaws, but
And it's just, So what this movie does so right, that's what I really want to take a look at, as well as taking a look at the characters. But why does it stand so far and above the rest? Why is it still to this day hailed as the best Spider-Man movie, if not the best Marvel movie ever made? This is an animated film we're talking about, not live action. This is an animated film, and yet to most people, this is one of the best ever made. It's one of the best movies ever made. You go on Letterboxd, this is in the top 50. And its sequel is even higher right now. And so what are the keys to success? Why does this movie perform so well, even though it didn't make as much money? Why does it garner so much as a sequel?
It just everything right. Like you throw everything that this movie does into a blender, and everything turns out so well. Like first, you got the animation style. Every shot in this movie just looks beautiful. And we were talking about Ang Lee's Hulk earlier, and how Ang Lee, when he directed that Hulk movie, he tried to do the different panels
Ang Lee
and stuff.
walked so that
Ang Lee walked
so that this movie could run.
They could run in this, but it not only does everything well, but it's got something for everyone. Like I work in a middle school, and middle schoolers love Miles Morales. They love this character. They love these movies. And then us three, we're three dudes in our 20s. We just watched this movie. We love this movie. Like, I don't know how many different movies can connect to every different age level the way that this one does.
Well, humor is also just a huge factor. And even now, like how many times have I seen this movie and still I find myself laughing at characters. Peter B. Parker, hilarious, hilarious, man. And then you also have your Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir. And I mean, the humor works all around, but those two, they really hammer it home.
And like the main thing you notice is the maturity of the humor and the writing in this, where with our MCU, especially as of this point in the marathon, the emotional scenes are always undercut with that humor. They do not do any of that in this movie. They let the emotional scenes sit, and it works so well.
Oh man, especially with Miles and his dad. Oh, when he's trying to break the news that his Uncle Aaron was just killed, and Miles is sitting, he's wrapped up, his mouth is covered, he can't say anything, but he says, "Oh, I see your shadow under the door. I know you're there, but just listen." And he says his thing, and he pours his heart out to Miles, and he says, "I love you, Miles, and you don't have to say it back." Like that is so good.
It's like, I see the spark in you.
The spark in you.
And dude, it's amazing. Like, dude, this especially this rewatch, I got like full chills in that scene. I'm like, that is just so.
That is
so
one
good.
character that you. I mean, a big pattern that I've seen with a lot of these Marvel movies that we've seen in our watch. So I mean, we're at what 53 now. Is with the first movie, you're like, oh, they're not very fleshed out in this, but we'll see them in the sequel. They'll make up for it in the sequel. No. Every character that's focused on in the sequel still has tons of character development in this movie. Still is like, oh yeah, this is a fleshed out character. It's not like we're putting him on the back burner this time. We're just gonna like, no. The dad, Miles, we got Gwen, we got Peter B. Parker. Everybody gets a little something more. Like they're all elevated in the sequel, and that's something that this movie fixes out of the other ones.
Because you already care so much about each and every one of the characters.
Starting off on the right foot.
And then you have more depth poured into them into the sequel. Mainly, I'm talking about Spider-Gwen, who I already love in this movie. And then you have Peter B. Parker, who takes kind of a backseat in the second one.
His story's kind of
his arc reaches the boiling point in this movie,
which it's good. I mean, he's now the old man mentor, and that's good.
You have a great arc for Miles, which is fantastic, and you also have a great arc for Peter B. Parker. And once you get to about like the halfway point, maybe 3/4 of the way through, almost every scene is this huge emotional beat. Because you talk about that scene with him and his dad. The scene right before that is almost just as emotional with all the Spider-Man. And they're like, nah, you're not going to come with, you're not ready. And then they all leave. And Spider-Man sits there and he's like, no, you're not ready. Strike me on command. Do it. And you can see him as he's holding him on and the facial expression that Miles makes. Props to the animators. it is conveyed that everything in his being, his eyes, wants to be able to prove to Spider-Man that he can do it. And seeing him fail is what makes the moment after that, when he finally makes his suit, when he finally makes it there, and all of those emotional beats after that, it makes it work so well. It's not enough superhero movies and not enough movies in general these days can get to that level. And I'm almost like, if they made them more family oriented, if they made the hero struggle more, it would be that much more interesting. It doesn't have to be to this level. But as long as you make them struggle, as long as you make it character drama around you, especially with family, I found that the more family is tied into the plot, the more it's interesting, the more the stakes are higher. That's why Spider-Man resonates so hard. You have his aunt, his uncle, his girlfriend. When you build the universe around that character, when you give them relationships that matter, then it just becomes something else entirely.
Yeah.
That's what so many superhero movies are missing nowadays, because you think it's all about the main character.
That was like the only redeeming quality in Blue Beetle, was that the family was fun to watch. And Shazam too, there were a couple cool family moments, and that was it. That was all.
So
I liked.
Ben, where would you say, like, what's a prime example of a modern MCU film, or even one that we've come across in our marathon failing at that family aspect?
Shang-Chi is a movie that I feel would be so much more elevated, because he already is so fantastic, if he had that core characters. I love Shang-Chi, but I honestly do not care about any relationship that he has with anyone else, except for maybe his father. And that is even more of like a, I could take it or leave it.
Okay. Yeah.
Shang-Chi, you have Captain Marvel. I don't care about any character around her either. Not even Nick Fury at this point, which is...
Well, they flubbed Nick Fury. But...
Well, yes, that's a conversation
and
for
her
another
family,
day.
I think, was entertaining, and there was some... But
if you want to make the characters likable, you have to put them in our shoes. You have to make them struggle, because that's what we do every day. And that's why it's not so easier to make a Spider-Man story, but the characters around Spider-Man are so essential to his stories. And that's what makes this one so great.
Well, yeah, because you can just get the relatability from it. This one, Miles is going to high school, right? In Spider-Man 2, Peter's broke, trying to make rent, you know? Like, it's just stuff that you can be like, yeah, money problems, school problems, girl problems. Yeah, we get that.
you know, I
that.
think that, I hate to say it, but this, I mean, no, I'm going to fully embrace this. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has better high school movie aspects than Spider-Man Homecoming. And that was our previous...
Hot take?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I liked it. I think that the anxiety that Miles feels while he's walking down the hallway and he's like, oh, they all saw me. Whoa, that girl's tall.
Really tall.
Yeah. Like, that's exactly what high school brains think. Like, they're nervous about asking the girl, but now you got these Spider-Man powers. And we didn't really get that side as much in Homecoming. Like, yeah, he did the same things, but then he also had to cut it all and be Spider-Man. In this one, he's kind of like at the same time struggling with the same things in the same place.
Like, when you think about like comparing this to any other really movie, the amount of characters you get, the amount of story you get, like, this is a multiversal movie, but it's under 2 hours. It feels so tight. There's no like sitting down and like, this is what's happening. It's all so quick. They just kind of expect the audience to get what is going on. And the characters that, like, even Miles' dad, he doesn't have a ton of screen time, but when he's on screen, they make it count. And that's what this movie does so well.
You know who else takes up a lot of screen real estate? It's Kingpin, that we haven't talked about.
That is true. That is true. Now, see, here is where I'm not going to say that it's bad. This is a nitpick. I'm not counting this against the movie at all. I would say in a longer runtime, you could flesh this out more. Kingpin to me is not as, I don't care enough.
Compared
about
to some
Kingpin.
villains, I think he's gold compared to...
I know, agreed. I like the family drama. Him getting his family back, especially if you watched Daredevil. is a little bit more relatable to me, but you can't have that prior knowledge going into this. You have to accept the character as is presented in the film. But I don't, it's a nitpick. I don't count it against the movie at all. The story is about Peter B. Parker and Miles. Mm-hmm. Everyone else kind of takes a back seat to fulfill their character arcs. I mean, to the point where in the final fight scene, Kingpin just stands there and lets him get up and give a full speech and say, "You ever hear the shoulder touch?" and lets him touch. Like, all right, okay, I see what they're going for.
They had to wrap it up.
Yes, I'm not counting that against him, but I agree with you, Micah, that he is definitely better than most of the villains, I would say, on the Marvel movie marathon.
And he's got that menacing walk to him where, really the first scene we see him and he kills Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
No other villain has been able to do that throughout this marathon.
I love how he
kills Spider-Man.
Fills the screen.
Yeah.
That was I love that.
A kind of a risky choice.
Yeah.
I feel like.
How huge he is compared to the other characters. It really just makes him a menacing looking character. And it gives you everything you need to know about him just by looking at him. Especially if you haven't seen Daredevil, especially if you didn't. I think the Spider-Man game came out after this? Before this?
Before this.
Before this. So if you didn't play the Spider-Man game either, where there was also Kingpin, where he's more of a normal looking, just big dude. Wilson Fisk in this is cartoonishly huge. And it works perfectly for me. I love it.
And it's very much like adapting what is on the page into this movie, which you can do. Whereas with real life, you cannot make Wilson Fisk this big.
No,
it would look awful to do like we've seen people at Comic Cons dressed as Wilson Fisk this big. It just looks horrible. But you can do it in an animated form, and it is something you kind of miss with. If I'm going to critique Vincent D'Onofrio, it's just that he is human size. He's not this big. He's not this menacing, but that's kind of what makes his performance so great, is the humanness to him.
Oh, so absolutely. Which do we want to rank Wilson Fisk's now? I mean, we've
only seen two of them, right?
Two now.
And if we want to classify the one in Hawkeye as a third entity, because we could do that, because
that's true. We can do that.
Multiverse shenanigans.
So we've got Spider-Man video game, Wilson Fisk. We've got Michael Clark Duncan, Vincent D'Onofrio again.
This is fun.
And then this one. So we got 5. Who would you say is our worst?
So you got to speak for. I've not played the Spider-Man game, so you have to speak for
pretty good. One. I mean, he kind of reminded me of this one in Spider-Verse.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He's only in the beginning.
Yeah, he's only in the beginning.
He's not given any depth.
No.
And I also think his voice cast was a miscast.
He was more of a just beginner, just like.
Who is our dead last?
I would put him.
I'm going with 2003 Daredevil.
Are you serious? Wow.
What's his name?
Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Ben is a famous racist on the show, so.
Wow. Man.
He does not. He is not imposing at all.
Boss.
To me.
Why am I at the bottom?
No, come on. It's Michael Clark Duncan.
Here, I'll go.
Dude.
Bottom for me I'd have to go Spider-Man game. I haven't seen that.
Okay,
so
I would put him at the bottom too, just because of. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was bare minimum Wilson Fisk for me.
Then I would put Hawkeye Kingpin. He's just a little too cartoony. Not enough of that Vincent D'Onofrio that we love. He's still Vincent D'Onofrio, but he's not there. Then I go Clark Duncan, Liev Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio, Daredevil. Right.
Liev Schreiber voices him in Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Spider-Verse. Yeah,
cool.
I mean,
I would rank similar to that. That sounds about right.
The only number one is Vincent D'Onofrio from the Daredevil show.
Wow, I've been watching Daredevil, guys, and
finally
I finished season 1, and yeah, he's
it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
He's aight.
So good.
You're on the 3rd episode.
So good.
I'm going into episode 4 of season 2. Punisher's pretty sick. I watched the Punisher show, but we're not talking about that.
Speaking of pretty sick, Peter B. Parker, guys. We have to talk about Peter
every single
Parker,
time I watch this movie. I just need a cheeseburger, man. I need one.
He's such a good character. He's so real and just the build of the body, like I could just relate to that,
Dude.
man. And that's how I look when I put on spandex.
That's how I look right now.
I got that gut popping out. But what was y'all's reaction like first time seeing just all the different variants and all the different Peters?
I remember going to this movie not knowing anything about Multiverse at all, because I mean, who would have thought
the
going into
monologues
this?
weren't around yet.
The monologues weren't around yet, and that's why you're here, fellow listeners. But they expected that, I think. I think they anticipated you not knowing anything going into this movie, and they were like, okay, we're going to do a couple rug pulls throughout this. So you're thinking, oh, he's by the Spider-Man grave. Did he fake his death? Who is this guy? I didn't even notice his hair was brown at first. I thought it was Spider-Man, like Peter Parker from that universe. So I liked the pacing of this. I liked how they dragged you along for the ride and just made it hilarious. Like you thought, oh, Spider-Man's still alive, and then oh, he's like dying because he's getting beat up by a train and by the cars and all that.
Was I the
liked
only
it.
one when this movie started who thought that this was supposed to be an animated version of Tobey Maguire?
Oh, no, I thought
Chris Pine.
That's what I'm saying.
They pay
That's what I'm
homage
I
saying.
thought
to
the
him.
other
Yeah.
one was supposed
That's what I'm
to
saying.
be.
Like,
yeah,
because he started doing the dance, and then there was that iconic shot of him on the
Peter
bridge.
Parker, right? Not Peter B.
Peter Parker, the first
Peter
one.
Parker, yeah.
Milan.
616.
Yeah,
And I'm
Yeah.
like, is that supposed to be? Are
16.
And I think they're definitely like, this is before we really have our established multiverse
Right.
where everything has to play into it. So very much, I think they kind of wanted that. It definitely pays homage to him for sure, but it's different enough to where it's not directly.
Yeah, I
Tobey
really like how they
Maguire.
start with him too. They start with Spider-Man. They don't start with they don't start with Miles.
Yeah.
They start with Spider-Man, not even Peter Parker. What a bold move. Like, yeah, we're in for a Spider-Man movie. This is Spider-Man. And then they kill him. Crazy.
You're
I
right.
love how, all right, so they introduce you. They're like, all right, so you're Spider-Man. You guys all know and love him. Here we go. We're doing this one last time. And then we see Miles. And then we get to see how different he is, how awesome, and like how much just personality this movie is going to have. Just starting from he's getting ready for school, he's listening to his music, his little sunflower, and
I
his,
love how he doesn't know fully the song.
Oh,
and
he
he's
doesn't know
trying
any
to
of the
learn
lyrics.
it. Like that to me, that's so relatable.
and that was exactly us going into this movie. Was we're humming along, we're trying to sing, and we're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm vibing with this. I'm gonna be liking this song in the future. So I'm gonna try to memorize it now.
What do you think of the music of this movie? Specifically the soundtrack, not the score.
The soundtrack, I never really got into the soundtrack on this one as much. I do think that they improve on that in the sequel. I think that the mixtape for Across the Spider-Verse is much more listenable for me
Yes.
than Into the Spider-Verse. And I remember you asked me that when Across the Spider-Verse came out. You're like, all right, well, which one do you like listening to more? And yeah, I'm going to side with Across the Spider-Verse.
So I agree. Like, I think Across's mixtape is better. Like, if I were to shuffle one of these, that one I would bump more. But in the context of in the movie and when they play the songs, I think this one does it better. Just every time one of these songs
Great
comes
point.
in, you're like, man, that just fits there so perfectly. And it feels more like the songs are made for the moment in this one, as opposed to the songs are made for the movie
yeah.
in the Across. But as far as score goes, the score on the second one is much better.
I think Across the Spider-Verse improves. Across the Spider-Verse improves on everything. Like the Daniel Pemberton, though, who does produce the score for both, he does a fantastic job. Specifically, the standout track of this one is the Prowler theme, which is absolutely fantastic. It became a meme after this one, but his by far most listened to song. As of before Across the Spider-Verse, I'm pretty sure now Miguel O'Hara's 2099 theme is more popular. I don't know. You'd
good.
have to pull up Spotify.
That was
You have
just
to-
in a meme, I
you'd have to
think.
pull
And
up
the Gwen
numbers.
theme from Across is really good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He is such a great composer that does not get enough love Ori, and he definitely doesn't get enough projects to work on because everything he touches is gold. He did these two. He also did King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, which was a big, huge box office bomb, which was way underrated though. Fantastic film.
You heard it from Ben. Fantastic film.
I think it's great. But he does a score for that.
I've seen Arthur.
His
show?
score is
The little aardvark.
King.
Oh, King Arthur. My bad.
Oh, King Arthur from Shrek. Gotcha.
Yeah, got it.
All right.
Whoa.
Uh,
I'm really excited to see where the music specifically is going to go. Like, I just see
Nerd.
myself as a privilege to have one more of these.
We got
another
time.
mixtape, another score of this fantastic music.
They said that the Beyond the Spider-Verse will be the last one. They're pretty confident in that. And
Wow.
I don't know how much they've even started on that. So we're gonna be quite a ways from that too.
I'm good with that, dude.
Same here.
Make it a trilogy. Make it perfect.
It's one of those movies that you are fully happy waiting 4 or 5 years for because you know that they're gonna deliver. Like, I'm not happy waiting 16 years for another Ant-Man or Thor film because that's not worth it. But
well confirmed today, though.
yeah, confirmed.
Ant-Man 4.
No, Thor.
Oh, no, like
Thor 5.
Thor, Doctor Strange.
Shang-Chi 2.
Thor
Shang-Chi
5
2.
quickly in the right hands could be so freaking good.
Oh, they set it up to be.
That's what I'm saying. In the right hands, bro. Like,
Thanks
they
about
can't-
any movie, Ben.
I know.
What do you guys think?
Sorry,
Should Miles have been more confident in school? Because I feel like he would have been way cooler if he just owned that his dad liked him. Supporting father figure.
Yeah, but as a freshman, though, I take myself back to the mindset of being a freshman. Parents, get out of here. Please stay away from me. Like, I'm trying to live my
Stay
own
back.
life. Like, that's what I'm saying. I would be livid.
Come on.
I wouldn't even say it, probably.
His dad did him dirty. He did him dirty
Wow.
with that. Yeah.
In front of all your new friends. Like, come on.
At least he's got a cool uncle to go to.
We got to talk about
super
Uncle
cool.
Aaron.
I love
Come on.
the relationship between Uncle Aaron and Miles, where Miles just feels like he could have a refuge where he could express his art, he could say his feelings, he could just hang out with Uncle Aaron, but he can't, his dad just doesn't understand him, he doesn't get him. So they take him down to the subway station and they paint that big old mural of great expectations.
Get him bit.
That's the theme of the whole movie right there. That's crazy. I loved it.
His death scene.
Oh,
The whole
that hit me.
that whole thing. I let you down, man. I let you down.
Yeah.
Like, the emotion that this movie can conjure up is insane.
Yeah, they subvert your
How
expectations there.
heartbreaking when he gets shot in the house, dude.
Yeah. Like,
Oh.
that Spider-Man story, his uncle dies, but you don't really expect it with Uncle Aaron. You think it's a little different.
And then instantly, right after that, they make the genius writing decision of pitting the not long-lived rivalry between his father and son. You got to make a suit. You can't take off the mask. Now your father's against of you. It's like everything crumbles down on Spider-Man.
Yeah. And this movie just makes it so unfair for every other Spider-Man movie you watch. Because even if you do like Andrew Garfield or you do like Tobey Maguire, you like those movies as a whole, like this one just does so much so well, so quickly. This is a really good movie.
I would say yes, but there is something about live action Spider-Man specifically that is not able to match it, because I would say that these are pretty much unmatchable. This and Across, besides one movie. It's just this. When you can take
Tasm 2?
that's what I'm referring to.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Is it?
Yeah,
No,
Tasm
it's
won
not.
the end of it.
Yeah,
But I'm
Tasm
just-
one. Those are the best kind. Every time I rewatch this, and especially in the context of No Way Home, it just can't. I just always feel like they saw this movie and they went like, all right, what if we did this live action? And to me, especially after this rewatch, it just feels like a weird, vague trying to mirror what this movie did. Not that it's bad. I really like No Way Home, and it really is emotional to see those characters that we've been following meet up. But it just feels like it's playing like a copycat of this.
You know what, Ethan? I remember walking out of the theater and I was like, I can't wait for them to do that in live action. Like just
Yeah.
straight up. I want them to do that, but live action.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
And that's,
Super cool.
I mean, that's the main draw of No Way Home. Like this time you see this, it's in live action, and you get to see Toby and Andrew come back. And then they also just made it super emotional.
And where No Way Home, throws that curveball is Tom Holland's story and acting. Holy cow. Really good.
When we get
Really
to
good.
that's going to be a fun one. The only review I think we have of No Way Home is our instant reaction, me and Ethan, and we just are sitting there like, dude, that happened?
We just talk about the movie for way too long.
Dude, wait,
Probably
that
skip like an
happened?
hour into that if you go listen to that.
I don't even think there's an hour of it.
I don't know
think we
then.
just kind of sat there and went like,
Wow.
holy cow.
You guys remember when Spider-Man was on screen?
Remember when Spider-Man was on screen? He talked to Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man was like, does it come out of anything else?
What's up, Spider-Man?
That was good stuff.
I have a question for you, gentlemen. Do you want to see this Miles Morales in live action? And if they're going to do a Miles Morales in live action, do you want it to be this one?
No.
No.
Ooh,
This is its own thing. I want it to stay.
Yeah.
It is the novelty of this movie is that it's so original.
Mhm.
It is such a new idea. It's a different take on Spider-Man. It's a different take on, I mean, anything we've ever seen.
Mhm.
The animation, the story, the character development, just the idea in general. No one's done multiverse in superhero movies before, period. And this started it all. And to branch this out to other things, to make it connected to other things, like visually connected, like, yeah, okay, it's all connected through the spider web or whatever, but it's all, the Spider-Verse is connected, implied. I don't need to see that.
yeah.
It's already implied, right?
So you would want it to be a new actor cast as Miles, a new storyline.
No.
For him.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want this to be the same Miles that we see ever again. I want the trilogy, and that's
Done.
Miles'
Yeah,
story.
Close
Done.
the book.
No connections to anything
Lock and
else,
key,
even though this
that's
is
it.
the Spider-Verse. Probably will see him again at least someday.
Yeah, what if they could end this trilogy with, I'm not going to let this Spider-Verse change my story, and then cut himself out of the web.
Actually, thematically, that is not probably far off.
Yeah.
'Cause
Just
he
hopefully
is-
the writing is better than that.
Well, 100%.
What-
No,
And it
that was straight from the screenplay. I got it right here for Beyond.
Holy cow. Nick Cage is confirmed coming back for that.
Let's
please,
go.
Please.
See, now if the question is, do I want to see live action Nick Cage as Spider-Man Noir? The answer is, of course,
I want to see.
Secret Wars.
Hold on, though.
I want
Isn't
to see
that an
live
actual
action
thing,
noir.
though? I believe Lord and Miller are doing that.
There,
Spider-Man
there
Noir
is
and
that's
Silk.
you're right. That's not
Silk
live
is still
action though,
coming
is
out?
it?
I believe it is live action.
Well, that's wild.
both of
I don't know if
those.
that's Nick Cage though.
It might be
I
cool
don't
to see.
know if it's Nick Cage.
It
but
might be cool to see this Miles Morales in Spider-Man freshman year because that's animated. Like, I want it to stay animated. I don't want it to go live action because it's just like,
It would do disservice to this character.
the whole point, half of the reason why we love this one is because of the art style. If you take him out of the art style, then it's just, Spider-Man, but it's different.
I agree. It's the same
You
argument
can't
as
express
in,
yourself.
like,
same
let's take Christian Bale's Batman
Yeah.
and then let's throw him into this multiverse. Okay, whoa, hold on. You're touching this character that is so great
Yeah.
and has such a good story, and now you're going to do more with it. Like,
Yeah, we love that character, but we
a
also
reason
love
for that.
where he fits.
It's
Right.
like bringing
In
a
his story.
beloved master into a sequel film and then handing him the lightsaber and then have him toss it behind his back.
ooh,
That didn't happen in this. I don't know what you're
maybe
alluding
a
to.
conversation that is coming very soon down the line.
Oh, is that
So-
alluding to something?
So, okay, all right, gentlemen. So new Miles Morales. That's in the works. I know that is in the works. That's something Sony is looking at very heavily. However, we're going to have to deal with the likes of Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter next year.
I haven't played Spider-Man 2, so I don't know how he is in that, but
I hear that's fantastic.
yeah, I hear Spider-Man 2 is great. I
Yeah.
played Miles Morales. That one's good.
Yes.
Really good.
It's Sony. how can they just churn out these fantastic stories and then just also do like Venom?
Yeah,
and,
that.
Garbage.
like, I don't know how that's possible. What's going on over at Sony that they can't apply these to their movies? I mean, I'm not going to speak too soon for Madam Web, but come on, we all saw the trailer, right? I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day.
Venom Peak. I'm seeing that twice opening day.
Yeah, come on.
And Venom 3.
Valentine's
Venom
Day.
3 is also out next year.
Venom.
That's true. I hear that movie's done.
A woman-led
Venom 3 is
Sony.
done.
I hear that is filmed.
Filmed.
I just
Deadpool 3
I don't
resumed
know if
filming.
they're gonna take time to film a Vulture cameo. Maybe I don't know.
I'm still building a team.
Is there anything else we want to say about Into the Spider-Verse?
How about that? How about that cameo?
Stanley.
The first one post death, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It always fits.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
Yes, I remember. It was after Venom. At least I'm pretty sure.
Maybe
Did
not.
he
Maybe not.
cameo in Venom?
He did.
He
did.
died.
What was his
November
cameo in Venom?
12th.
So it was after Venom.
Yeah,
Yes. And then
he wasn't. Oh yeah, he was in Venom. He walked the dog at the end.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I
you
remember
got that
yeah.
crazy side of you or something like that.
Both of you are or something.
Which, I mean, a very interesting cameo right after his death. Like, and in this movie, it comes at a very emotional point in the movie with great music, by the way. It always fits eventually. And I know it's kind of a joke. It's played its last, but like thematically, it fits very well into the story.
Yeah, it does.
I think that's great. And also, I mean, I don't know if you were referring to Stan Lee as the cameo, but Spider-Man 2099
Yeah.
in the end of the
Miguel
film.
O'Hara.
Very epic post-credit scene. We see him try to recruit the 60s Spider-Man for his epic multiverse team. And then it just turns out to be the pointing meme,
Yeah.
which got a ton of laughs
Super
in
cool.
my theater.
Really fun.
Yeah, I remember that. And then one last one, Post Malone, the singer for Sunflower, along with Sway Lee, but Sway Lee does not make a cameo, I don't think.
I think Sway Lee's in Across.
Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Sunflower still a good song? Is it?
Mm.
I think
Has
so.
it reached a point where it's too overplayed?
I think it's still catchy.
That was the most played song. Holy cow! That was the vibe of
I
going
do not
into
personally
2019.
turn it on.
I mean,
Neither do I.
it is like the most played song ever. I think it's second place or something crazy.
Ever?
Yeah, ever on Spotify.
Holy crap!
Yeah, people play it on loop like a bagel,
Oh. Everything
like a bagel guy.
Nice.
Everything ever all at once.
Epic foreshadowing.
Yeah, what a cool like who on the writing team was like, all right, gotta rewatch the first one. let's get a plot going for the second one. What if we took that bagel dude?
A bagel guy.
Really, it does come out of nowhere. It does not feel like foreshadowing, but then it's like, oh,
Oh,
It's neat.
you know what else? Gwen's. We didn't talk about Gwen's
Kind of
multiversal
rewrite.
counterparts.
Yeah.
How they're not very lined up with the sequel. Gwen's dad looks nothing like
He
it.
looks completely different.
Completely
Yeah.
different. Gwen's Peter Parker does not die like that in the sequel.
Okay, it's just a brief like.
Yeah, it
enough.
gives us enough. Maybe that was her just all she needed to say
Just fluffing it up.
at the time.
Yeah.
the way that they do her story, I don't even care. Like,
Yeah.
who cares? It's so good in the cross. I forgot about it. Although giving it a rewatch is like, oh, interesting. That didn't work like that. Speaking of things that did work, though, favorite characters. What character worked for you the most in Into the Spider-Verse? Ethan,
Oh,
I think I know your answer.
Yeah, Peter B. Parker, just everything that Jake Johnson does, famously plays Nick in New Girl and brings that same kind of energy right into this performance. He's got it all. He's got the heart. He's got the humor. He's got the arc, and he's got the tragic backstory, his Aunt May's gone. He lost his wife. He's made mistakes. He's screwed up. I love seeing heroes that kind of just are in a bad spot, but then they ultimately bring them back. And it's not like the bad spot where we're like, oh, this character sucks, but in a bad spot where you see like, man, I wish he could get out of there. And he does, but he's also like the heart of this movie, and he comes along miles, and he's just great. And the costume design, come on. Green jacket, spider suit, sweatpants, mismatched shoes. I've cosplayed as Peter B. Parker many a times. I dressed as him to go see Spider-Man No Way Home. So yeah, this character is special to me, and I love, like, it's a leap of faith, right? It's a leap of faith. So I'm happy to take him, Peter B. Parker.
Yeah, he is fantastic. Micah?
I'm going to say, I believe his name is Jefferson Davis.
Ooh.
Is that his name?
Miles' dad?
Miles' dad. Yeah. I wasn't sure at first because, like, Davis, was that his last name? Oh,
It is.
yeah. All right.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah. Miles' dad. Because he impacts Miles so much without Miles, like, seeking him. Like, Miles' dad just keeps on pushing, keeps on going for that little spark in Miles because he knows that it's there. He knows that he can help him. He knows that Miles needs him. He just doesn't know it yet. And they pay off that line at the beginning where I just love how they bring it back. I already said it before, but when he's in the cop car, he says, I love you. You got to say it back. And they bring it back later where he's like, I love you. You don't have to say it back. He's going to love him no matter what. That is a father figure right there if I've ever seen one. Man.
They do that quite a lot too in this movie with just little lines that are said that they bring back at the end. Like 3 or 4 times they do that with different lines, and it's just really
it's a leap
shows.
Of faith. We didn't even talk about the leap of faith scene.
I'm sure we will.
I'm saving that for Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Miles. It could have been so easy to make the Spider-Man movie about Peter Parker as the main character. Very easy. It probably would have drawn more people to the theaters, but taking this relatively unknown at the time character,
Super new
Miles
character
Morales,
too. Yeah, 2014. I think
7 years ago. I think it was 2011.
2011.
7 years ago,
Fact
this
check that.
movie. Yeah, fact check that real quick. Miles Morales. 7 years ago, or however long it is, this character is created by Brian Michael Bendis,
2011.
and that's 7 years, and now this character is being translated on screen.
Super cool. Yeah.
Very big risk. You also have Spider-Man, but this is the main character. This is the main heart of the story. And now he is a household name. He is up there with Peter Parker. He is now synonymous with the name of Spider-Man. And I think almost all of that has to do with this movie and the writing and the character arc and journey that he goes on. I said before, but every moment that he has in this movie is so earned because of the struggle that he has and the relatability that he just instantly conveys on screen to us. Instantly, I'm endeared to Miles. Through that whole one take of him walking through the street to his new school. Oh yeah, I want to be back with my old buddies, but now I got this new responsibility at this new school. It's fantastic character writing, and I think he is such a great main character and is only deepened as the story goes. I can't wait to see where they take him. And that's why Miles is my favorite character. He has it all crescendos at the end when he sits there, and now as he is holding Peter B. Parker upside down, just as vice versa it was like 20 minutes ago in the story, Peter B. Parker asks for advice. How do I not know I'm going to mess it up? And he says, you won't. It's a leap of faith. And there it is. It's all right there. The writing, it's perfect. This movie, I'm having a hard time. We're going to get to it in the ranking.
You crying?
It's
okay?
good stuff. It's good stuff,
okay.
man. It's good stuff. But let's get to favorite scene. I'm going to shoot this to Ethan first. Ethan, out of all the scenes.
So every time I watch this movie, I have a new favorite scene, and I think you two alluded to some scenes that I'm not going to take. I'm going to keep them off the board. But a scene that I really loved just this rewatch was right after Miles has Peter B. Parker tied up, and then they go outside the building and they're walking up and down the building. I just really love that scene because it highlights Miles is just at that point just trying to imitate everything that Peter B is doing. The way he's walking up and down the walls, and the framing is so good because you have Peter B. Parker up top walking on the side of the building, then you have Miles at the bottom of the frame walking on the side of the building. It's just a really cool shot. The scene is really cool. You have Peter B talking about goobers, but you really see like the start of this relationship form. And I don't know why I just really like the foundation of the relationship being built there and just seeing where it goes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought it was really, really well.
I'm making you feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Is it working? Yes.
And then, right before that, when he starts glitching, he's like, come on, with great power comes. And then he's like, don't you say it. I'm done hearing that line. I don't want to hear it no more. You know, it highlights where both these characters are. And yeah, they go on with the rest of the movie. Just so many great scenes that you could, any scene I would accept as a great scene.
Micah, which one are you taking?
Oh, I'm gonna take.
So you're gonna go along with your favorite character? Or no?
Maybe I'll take the beginning, just the tone setting. When we're first being introduced to Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and just how they throw you into this and then immediately cut to Miles Morales. I love that transition. I love the tone setting, the stylish choices all laid out right away. I mean, you've got the all the logos going, right? And then it just goes with Comics Code Authority. Man, what a different way to set this movie up.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked it.
I mean,
but like,
how memorable, that is the most memorable part of this movie to me, is the Comics Code Authority. Because it really just like draws your attention. You're locking in. This is the movie you're about to see. Better strap in your seatbelts because we are going for
they're
a
like,
ride.
hey, those other movies you've been watching, those superhero movies, yeah, this is a comic book movie, and we're letting you know right away.
Oh yeah,
in every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one, Micah. I like that a lot.
thank you. All right, my favorite character is Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman, Liev Schreiber.
There
Is Mahershala Ali.
I like what you say, Ethan. How every time you rewatch it, there's a different scene that stands out to you. I mean, you could go with all of the greats. There's so many really fantastic movies. The I See the Spark in You. That scene is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith. At the end, that's fantastic. But the scene that stood out to me was one that I kind of alluded to already, and it's Peter B. Parker telling Miles that he is not ready. You are not ready to do this at all. And the facial expressions, the animation of all of that, the struggle that Miles goes through in that scene, it made me tear up. Like, that's how good it was. And it made me yearn for what superhero movies can be. It made me yearn for a superhero movie that we don't get as often anymore. And it made me feel good. This is why we do, and why we watch movies like this. This movie right here is why we get, and why we're so invested in these stories, why we keep coming back. And with that, let's get into the ranking portion of it.
Well, I want to say the Oscars ranked this number one in terms of best animated feature film, which is our second and only, I mean, potentially, as of right now, Oscar nominations are still going for next year's, but so Across the Spider-Verse could also be on this list, but
Better.
Big Hero 6 and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse were the only ones out of this whole list to get best animated feature. And here we are. It was up against Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, and Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah, pretty
So,
easy.
did not get Best Picture. Black Panther was the only one of our list that wasn't even nominated, but it lost to Green Book. So that was Spider-Verse's only nomination in the Oscars.
Dang.
Bohemian Rhapsody swept that year, if you guys remember.
Yes, that's true.
4
I forgot
wins.
about that.
Black Panther got 3 wins. So that's pretty impressive.
We've also made it pretty far into the podcast without just mentioning Haley Steinfeld or John Mulaney,
Zoe
who
Kravitz.
plays Spider-Ham. You know, just those other variants that deserve so much love.
Yes.
And Haley Steinfeld definitely gets the love in the later sequel.
Yeah, she will be a main topic of discussion in Across the Spider-Verse. That's for sure. She gets a good enough to do where you
Good
care for the
enough
character.
to do.
No, you do. You care for the character in this, but they really flesh it out in the next movie.
Then Spider Anime, I don't remember that character's name.
Penny Parker.
Penny-
Penny Parker. Yeah. Do you know who voices her?
Yeah, that is Kimiko Glenn. Not Kimiko from
Glenn, yeah.
Not Kimiko from Deadpool or from Wolverine, but Kimiko,
Nice. Nice that you remember Deadpool.
of course.
Good stuff. What does the internet think of Into the Spider-Verse? I actually already know
man,
this.
I was so
but
nervous about my score, I completely forgot to pull that up. All right, so
come on, man.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I just updated these today, so these are updated, and I also updated Across the Spider-Verses today. Rotten Tomatoes critic 97%, audience 94%, Metacritic 87%, Metacritic user 8.3 out of 10, IMDb 8.4 out of 10, Letterboxd 4.4, averaging out to an 88, so an 8.8 out of 10
For the internet,
for the internet.
that's got to be super
Into the
high.
Spider-Verse is second place for the internet, followed very closely by Across the Spider-Verse
At number
at
3?
number 1. Sorry, following very
Oh.
closely
Oh.
Into the Across the Spider-Verse. Rotten Tomatoes critic for Across and Into is 1 point off.
Wow.
Audience is the same. Metacritic is 1 point off. User is 1 point off.
Wow.
IMDb 3 points off. 87 versus 84.
It is just a testament to.
And it's a 4.5 versus a 4.4 on Letterboxd. So it is literally as close as it can get.
Yeah, that's a testament to Across the Spider-Verse. Because even like going into it this year, I'm like, I rewatched this movie before. I'm like, there's no way that it can even be in the same conversation as this first one. And it managed to in almost every way, which is a testament to that film. Now, I do still think I like this one better.
Ooh, I was going to ask that question.
Yeah. I think I do like the completion
I do too.
of this a lot better and the tightness of this. Across is longer and it is a less
Roll into your
focused,
score.
less focused narrative. So yeah, did you want to do the Hollywood Reporter ranking, or do we
have to hear
know
what
where
they
that
say.
is?
All
Micah?
right.
We have to hear what they say.
So the Hollywood Reporter infamously has a list
Horrible
of
list.
the greatest Marvel of all time.
greatest
They
blunder.
ranked it all because they know everything.
They ranked it all definitely while taking a big old dump in the corporate office.
100%.
Is this better or worse than, oh boy, Ant-Man?
Ant-Man. Oh. This better.
Edgar Wright's no longer owned Ant-Man.
This is better.
It better be.
They have to have
No,
made
no,
this
no,
better.
no, no, no. This isn't about what you think.
I know it's not about what I think, but
I
hope that for the Hollywood Reporter article, people
Please.
they put this.
It
and
has
they
to
have
be.
They have to have.
Yes. It's higher.
Yes.
You think Ant-Man's higher?
No, I think Spider-Man is higher.
Ant-Man is 11th place. Ant-Man is 11th place. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is... Sorry, hold on. Logan is 12th place. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is 13th place.
Are you kidding me? Nah, I'm-
Ant-Man, number 11. Let's go. Doctor Strange, number 10.
what's 9?
Next week's movie is 7th place.
Captain Marvel is 7th? Dude, you're kidding me.
This is why we have this freaking list every week.
Wow.
Dude.
9th place is X-Men.
They could not have been serious
Yeah.
when making
9th
that.
place X-Men. 8th place X2.
What?
Bro.
You know what? Yeah, all those movies you just named better than this.
They're
movie.
like, oh boy, top 10. Doctor Strange. Yeah, I like that one. X-Men. What came after X-Men? X2.
This is why we're doing it. Because oh man.
One could rewrite the narrative of the Marvel movie marathon and say that we started this to
We need
attack
to do
this
some.
list. Some time
You will
bending,
forget. Everyone will forget the Hollywood Reporter ranking,
and that they will only remember.
and then they will only stop changing the spell. You're messing it up.
Shoot.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's do it, guys. Let's make it better than the freaking Hollywood Reporter.
Let's change history, fellas.
Yep. Ethan,
I'm
what's
gonna
your
do this on
score?
the big screen
Movie
today.
blows. This is a 1 out of 10 for me. I can put that in my ranking. No,
Well,
like, you guys know me. I'm no stranger to
Look at that. It
handing-
even updates the color now.
Oh,
too.
wow. Oh, you gave me a
Automatically.
1. Yeah, keep it. Well, keep a 1 on there. Yeah,
Oh.
you know. So I'm no stranger to handing out 10s. I've given out famously, what is it, like 8, 10?
Ang Lee's
Not-
Hulk got a 10, so you
No.
gotta give this one a 10.
I did not give Ang Lee's Hulk a 10. What was my last 10? Was it Infinity War?
Infinity War.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this one has to be a 10. We've talked about it all day, how it just does everything so well. Every time I watch this movie, I try to go, okay, what doesn't work for me? And really nothing other than me like have seen it like 10 times and knowing what is coming next. There isn't like a critique I have with this movie. It just is, it's the It movie. It is the reason we love like these movies. It does everything so well. Characters, multiverse, writing, and it never is like preaching to you about anything or even trying to lore dump on you. You just follow the story and have a good time. 10.
10 out of 10.
Wow.
10.
Ooh. Ethan, you've given the most 10s out of all of us,
And
yet
yet-
you have the lowest average score.
It's just
Oh
because
wait,
I
hold on. Let's update that real
let's see
quick.
that.
What level? We're on 54.
53.
54 for the levels. All right, your
Oh.
average is still a 6.7.
Still the lowest.
Still the lowest.
Well, hey, that just means I give out the goods when they're deserved, and I don't give out the goods when they're not deserved.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not the Hollywood
Ethan,
Reporter
you give out
ranking.
the goods every
That's
day.
100%.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Every time I look at it, it's goods.
Oh, that means so much to me.
Micah, let's see what
And
kind
I'm
of
about
goods
to
you're
give out
giving
the
out.
goods
Yeah.
because I'm giving this movie a similar score to
Hold on now. What's your highest right now? What is your
Logan at a
highest?
9.7.
9.7.
Right? What did I give Infinity War? Yeah. 9.7, followed by, I believe, 9.5 for Spider-Man 2 and Infinity War. So with that, I have said before that I don't like to give out 10s, and I will not be giving out a 10 today. So you guys can, if
11.
if that's all you wanted to hear, I guess you guys can tune out now. But
Yeah, here, I'm going to turn off the recording, actually. This has been a waste of time.
Wow. I don't want to say a movie is perfect because
That's not what a 10
that's
is.
that's what a 10
no.
is to me.
Okay,
And I think
we
that
have
by
different
having these
interpretations of
different
that.
perspectives, by Ethan saying that a 10 is just like a really, really solid movie, that's perfect. That's great. For Ben, a 10 for him is one of his favorites. But for me, a 10 has to be absolutely life-changing. A 10 has to be like,
So,
I have to leave
for
this
context,
movie.
That's fine.
is there a movie that you've ever seen that is a 10?
I think about Interstellar daily.
Huh.
I think about Interstellar every single
Doesn't
day.
cut
That's
the-
fair.
It doesn't cut
And
the 10
that is
for
a
me.
movie that sits with me. For me, Into the Spider-Verse has scenes that will sit with me, but it's just like, okay, yeah, there's a couple scenes here, but Interstellar, it's like the whole movie sits with me.
Not that stellar, if you ask me.
Yeah, Ethan's a
Yeah,
hater.
and this isn't to compare the two.
This
because
isn't
they're
to
very
compare.
different movies.
This is to explain why I'm not giving this a 10. And I think I'm not even sure what would bring this to a 10. It's just I mean, that's the whole thing, right? That's how people are still trying to figure out how to make a 10 out of 10 movie every day. That's people's jobs, is to improve movies, is to make them better. And
That's AI's job now.
that's AI's job. So to give this a 10 for me, I would have to really change. Like, this would have to.
We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Go.
Fine.
No. I think you actually make
Yeah.
a very good point.
Yeah.
There has maybe never even been truly a 10 out of 10 movie yet, because they're still trying to
Yeah.
improve.
Why
And-
be the
Yeah.
why give out the highest for
And if
me?
that's how you're going to do movie scores, then I think it works.
For me, I think I think I would place Logan slightly higher than this. So I'm going to give it a 9.6.
Wow.
I would say
Logan
Logan
better.
Logan does some things of betrayal while also giving you that satisfying ending while still having that heart-wrenching relationship between him and the sacrifice that he puts towards what's her name? The girl. Not to compare Logan and that's not what this podcast is about. That's just so I can.
Well, it is about comparing the
I guess
Marvel
so.
films.
I guess so.
Definitely.
Yeah, I guess I
absolutely
could
is.
say that then. I love the build up and the payoffs that we have of just inherently from all these X-Men movies to Logan.
That's fair.
And that's just not something you can get out of a single movie that's trying to pick itself up from its bootstraps, and it's fighting an uphill battle fighting the uphill battle that it had. I just don't think it had much of a shot at it. That perfect 10 out of 10.
You present a good case for Logan, and what is Logan? It's number 2.
Logan is number 1 for me.
Or on our list.
Oh, for us, it is, I believe. Let me see. Let me average it out. We are at Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, number 1.
Oh,
Logan is,
nice.
I believe that's 5th place for us.
Oh, Logan's 5th. Wow.
Really?
All right.
Can't
1,
be right.
2, 3, 4.
4. Well, it is 4th.
I don't remember. Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I'm ranked by the wrong one. There we go.
Yeah, we need to have this
Third
list in
place.
front of us.
Third place.
There we go. That sounds better.
Yeah.
That
Third
sounds
place.
better. Okay. So 9.6 for you, Micah.
9.6 for me. Not quite as good as Logan. I might even bump Logan up if I had a chance, but
Oh.
just because as I'm fleshing out the 9 range, I'm seeing, I would bump Spider-Man 2 up a little more. I'd bump Logan up another 0.1 maybe. But that's not where I was when I watched it, so that's where it sits.
That's going to be an interesting, I would think, make for a good recap
Yeah.
on this whole
Yeah.
thing. Hey, what would you change?
Yeah.
After thinking about it for a while, that's going to be a good one. So we got a 10 and a 9.6.
That's right.
Like Micah said, everyone's got a different criteria for what a 10 is. And I've been very vocal on what a 10 is to me. It has to, I like Micah, I agree. Also, it has to mean a lot. It has to give you that life-changing, feel to it. To be a 10 out of 10. I don't like to hand those around. I believe I've only given that to 2 movies on this list, Infinity War and Winter Soldier.
That's right.
To me, Into the Spider-Verse, this first movie does not reach 10 out of 10. I
Suck
would
it,
not
Ethan.
give
What?
a
Sorry, I'll just continue to be right. That's fine.
Wow.
I would not give
Ben
Spider-Man
is
Into the
out here
Spider-Verse
licking
a
the
10 out of 10.
cheese off his thumb.
Huh? Keep going.
I don't
Ben.
get the reference. I don't get the reference. I would give this. Oh man, what would I give Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
Let's give it a 1.
It
do.
does,
Moving
it does
on.
so many things so well, but does it get a 10 out of 10? I don't think so. Why is it not a 10 out of 10?
I feel like
I'm
our
gonna
greatest movies.
I'm gonna have probably the hottest take on this podcast right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I don't really think I've saved it this long because I don't want people to get mad.
And people don't listen this long into our podcast anyway.
I mean,
That's
the
what I'm
viewer
thinking.
retention's what, 2 minutes?
I think there are times with this animation style that I don't like.
Ooh,
There are things with this animation style that actually bug me personally.
they bug you.
There are times
spider.
in this movie that
They bite you.
where I don't, and this is just personal to me, I don't like how blurry it is sometimes on the screen. I know
I can
that
see
is
that, yeah.
a stylistic choice. I know that is what they're going for. But at times in this movie, outside on certain frames of the screen, I like it when it's smooth. And there are times when it's just the outlines of characters maybe are just a little too blurry. And it's like, okay, I'm watching on the 4K. We watched the 4K today. And I have seen edits on YouTube of them animating these characters in up to the frame rate that they would be. I think it was 24 frames per second that they were supposed to be at to make them smooth. maybe I prefer that a little bit more. So sometimes the animation sequences bug me. That's not to say that it's brilliant. It's not brilliant. It is. It absolutely is. And almost every shot in this movie, like the scene where he's upside down, and the scene we didn't even talk about that whole sequence. The
What's Up Danger?
What's Up Danger?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. But certain times in this movie, that almost bugs me a little bit. And I'm not even going to throw Kingpin into my nitpicks for why this is.
Worst
But-
movie ever.
So with that, I only
Blurry
go
out of 10.
I only go halves these in between the points. This gets a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay.
For sure. 9.5.
Man, that's not even going to hit our top 5, is it?
With that though, what is our top 5?
Our top 5.
Before Spider-Verse.
Before Spider-Verse, this is our as of last week. Not that it mattered because Venom didn't crack the top
Venom
5.
is number 4.
First place, Infinity War at a 9.8. Second place, Captain America, Winter Soldier at a 9.8. First place was 9.83. All right, let me zoom in a little more because it's kind of far away. There we go. Logan, third place, 9.7. Fourth place, Captain America Civil War, 9.46. Fifth place, The Avengers, 9.43.
Man, it's still kicking
Will the Avengers
It-
be kicked out
I think it does.
of the top
Oh
5?
boy.
You know what?
What's the average, bro?
I
Let's
think
do
this,
it.
this
Let's
might
do it.
be,
You ready?
What is that, 4th?
We're going to see this all together at the same time.
All
I'm
right.
sorting.
Okay, all right.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1. Oh, wait.
Oh,
I
my
messed it
God.
up. All right. There we go. There it is.
man.
Fourth
It
place.
is 4th. Yeah.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse locked in at a 9.7.
Yeah.
Even.
That's a good,
Even
good
Steven on
score. I
there.
like that. Right under Logan, right where you put it, Micah.
And unfortunately,
Oh, no.
dropping Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance down to 53rd place.
Oh,
Kicking Iron Man out of the top 10.
oh
Kicking
man.
Thor Ragnarok out of the top 20.
Ugh, good.
Kicking Blade out of the top 30. Incredible Hulk out of the top 40. And Elektra out of the top 50.
Oh,
no.
Ooh, what a sad day.
And what is Venom at? 30, 43? Dang, it didn't take long
43rd.
for Venom to get. Dang, right above First Class.
Ouch.
Wow.
Ouch. All right. And this is the end of 2018. Guys, we had an incredible year.
Yeah, we did.
An
That was a good year
incredible
of
year.
Marvel.
Here,
movies.
can you start screen recording this?
Can I screen record this?
Yeah.
How do I screen record on macOS?
Just for future
type it up.
reference. That would be great.
Screen record macOS. Shift
Black
Command
Panther, great.
5.
Infinity War, great. Spider-Verse, great. I mean, our top 5 has 2 movies from 2018.
Shift Command
That's pretty epic,
5.
man. And now we enter 2019. This is the last year on our marathon.
Look at that. 8.072 for our year ranking for the whole year. Not our greatest year yet, but definitely, which I'm surprised that Venom took down the score
I'm
that much. Wow. All right. So that would mean 2017, surprisingly, is still our greatest year.
Better all around.
Better all around. Yeah. Yeah. And
Logan, Guardians
this is
2.
looking clean. Yeah. So next up,
Next week.
we have Captain Marvel.
Oh.
Very
Oh.
interesting. Fresh off the Marvels in the theaters. We've all seen it now.
Yeah. Maybe all our new fans can come. Why just talk about Captain
And
Marvel?
Rebecca
Captain
and I, we
Marvel.
just finished watching Room last night. Room is great.
Brie Larson.
So it's not
Great
Brie Larson's
actress.
fault. I like Brie Larson as a character.
Whoa. Are you revealing your thoughts?
No, I forgot actually everything about Captain Marvel. So
not
I've seen,
gonna lie,
I saw Captain Marvel one time in the theaters.
I just
Have
want to let you guys
never
know.
seen it since.
Oh yeah, I think
yeah,
I saw it
me
on
too.
Disney Plus.
I
I
did
think it was a
those-
laundry movie.
I did those MCU rewatches and I just kind of skipped this one.
Because you get so close to Endgame, it's like, I don't need
Well,
to see this.
You do it in chronological order. You start with Cap, and then you got to do that one.
Which
and then you're
Cap?
Like, First Avenger.
Oh, okay. I was
that-
sure
that
you meant
was-
Cap Marvel.
No.
Cap Marvel.
Cap Marvel.
No. Yeah, but that's next week, folks. So look forward to
Same
that.
bad time.
same bad channel, and
Bye.
that is going to be that's good. No, listen,
Yeah.
oh, that's going to be an interesting one. It's definitely not going to crack the top 5 for sure, but
The top
You know,
50,
Will
maybe.
it crack the top 52?
you never know.
It just might.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the Marvel movies we review
It sure
on this
is.
list. That's
I'm
for
excited to
sure.
revisit it because I haven't seen it since theaters. So,
Yes.
I mean, not anticipating that it is one of our best, but
Well, I mean, listen,
But it's a Marvel movie.
on this list, on this Marvel movie marathon, that's what I'm looking forward to. Putting this in the list, reviewing it now.
we have 4
years
movies
removed.
left.
Captain Marvel, and then 3 other ones, which
Wow.
I mean, we're not gonna. I mean, obviously, I think you guys know what's after Captain Marvel. Actually, let's play that trailer after we finish this.
Do it.
Not Captain
Marvel
Marvel,
trailer,
though.
yeah.
Not Captain Marvel. But yeah, that's gonna be next week, folks. We're nearing the end of the year. Anticipate the end of the year podcast where I think we're dubbing it the Multiverse Awards for 2023, barring a better name comes along in the coming weeks.
I like those names.
But that's going to be, or we're going to be ranking everything. So that's going to be a fun podcast to tune into. So look forward to that one, as well as the final 4 Marvel movies of the year. And I think we're going to hit it, guys. We got 4 weeks left in 2023. We got 4 Marvel movies left.
Will Far From Home release January or will it release end of December?
Good point.
I guess we got to do some math.
We got to do some math. We'll
Have to
figure it
do
out.
some cramming to.
That'll be after the cameras are off. But we thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in next week. For now, this has been Rayside.
This is Peter B. Parker.
This is Micah Ham.
Signing off, we all hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.